guys, Rickshaw here. We've got our first plane away up there that I can see a contrail, a long one. We get some beautiful clouds today. That is absolutely one of the first ones I've seen in quite a long time. This leaving such a long contrail way over there. If you can see it, I hope you can. Beautiful billowy clouds. We've got a fantastic breeze going today. Hot in the sun, but nice in the shade. So talking about that, I wanted to mention a few things. If you're gonna buy a house from a builder in here in a development, like, you know, we wanted a development just for a little bit of safety instead of being just out in the open where somebody could cut through our yard and look through the window. You know, our last place had a big thing around it, and we knew all the neighbors, but anybody could walk by there day or night. You know, we had some of our pots stolen from somebody reaching over the fence, and if you see how high that was, they had to have something to stand on to do it, so they came prepared. But a couple of things. I like the idea of being in a gated community. It's very strict. They just don't let anyone in and out. The ones they do make them take off their mask, get a shot of their face, and turn in their driver's license in order to drive in the development. They have pictures taken of their motorcycle with the plate, and anybody who comes in there, that's just the rules we have to do. Now, we'll have a sticker. I'll get a sticker for my bike, and you know, once they get to know you, it's a little bit different. It's smoother. Like here, you know, we don't have any problems getting out of here. But one of the things you should consider in this heat, we went and looked at this one development out towards Tanza, and the way the sun came up and went down, you know, you look at these things and look, they'll give you a plan of streets, and on a lot of them it'll say where north and south is. Or I bring a compass. I bring a compass when I went and looked at a lot of them. I have one in the car. It's just a little lensatic compass, and I looked. Well, this one place we looked at, the sun in the morning would come up right there on the street, and it would go all the way around and come down there. So basically the streets were just hit with sun. Now, this neighborhood, sun comes up over on this side and sets, you know, sets over there. So we get in the afternoon, early afternoon, we start getting shade. I'll put my chair across the way over there, and we start getting shade. As soon as you get the shade here, it starts cooling. The concrete cools off. Everything cools off pretty quickly here. Our house, when we did it, I went with white. I wanted the white, you know, to help reflect the heat. I'm going to put some, probably some malungai or something in the back of the place to help shade the back of the house in the sun. Now our sun comes up on the south side, and it kind of crosses over on an angle from us, so we'll get a little bit of evening sun towards the front, which is okay. That wasn't too bad. It's not as good as here, but you know, we just liked the builder and how strict it was in there. So, you know, it's helps me watch out for the kids. Another thing we did up on the roof, it's just a metal roof, a little bit of extra insulation in there, and make sure it's vented properly to dissipate the heat. Now, one of the things that I'll be doing in the future, it depends on how hot it is. We're at a wait and see type thing. We're going to get in there and see. We're going to do whole house fan, just to get the heat out. If the place does get hot, just turn on the air conditioner. They're going to start laboring, and you're going to spend a big dollar on aircon. So what we're planning on doing, if it is going to be a little bit hot there, and we can't get enough shade for the house, and it heats up, and of course upstairs, you know, is always hotter, you know, we'll have a whole house fan so that we can cool that air off as quickly as possible before the AC comes on. So that's something to think of. Like ours is a custom home. I did a whole bunch of extra cabinets in the kitchen. There was only cabinets over top of the stove and countertop. That's where they ended. Well, we had cabinets up in the bedrooms. I didn't want them. They were non-movable. I said, could you build them freestanding? And they said no. So I took them out. Well, we traded those for more cabinets in the kitchen. Now, I did put them up over my head. I put them over 2 meters, so it's a little bit over top of my head. it gave a little bit extra space for the refrigerator so it can cool itself. This one cools itself on the top, so I needed that. We're also going to get a little stove hood with a little fan to kind of blow the heat up and out if we're cooking on the stove. I can see that kitchen getting kind of hot, so we're going to see how we can vent that somehow. That's something that we're looking at here, but like I say, we're going to see how it's done in the future. Now, we're getting ready to get into where we're doing the inspection. I would recommend you buy a house. Somebody mentioned this. I already knew this though. Fill up all the sinks full, unplug everything, drain them at the same time, check for leaks, listen for your water flow outside. I'm even going to go as far as spraying the windows, make sure they don't leak. We're going to check all the electricity. We're even going to Megger test it. We're going to Megger test it between lines, ground, everything. I may re-pull all that as it goes, as time goes on. I know that they put a neutral in there, and at the meter, it's not pulled into the house. There's a ground rod by the meter, not pulled into the house. Just 2 wires. There's no ground bus in the panel or anything like that, or a neutral bus. They're bonded anyway. They come from the same place. So what we're thinking is, we could easily get 120. I could split a plug, and we could do 120 just by pulling maybe 12-4. I think the wiring they put in is substandard. That was something I was supposed to go out and do myself, but with the COVID, I was blocked from going there. You just couldn't get through there at all to do it what I wanted to do. So, and it would have took some time while it was being built. I wanted to get away from the Smurf tube and use regular pipe. None of their guys knew how to do it. Some of the things that they did in the building when you run into these homes was there was an Insta-Hot, and I wanted it under the sink in the kitchen. And this plumber said, no, it has to be up on the wall, up high, because it's gravity fed. This is what you're going to deal with here. I've seen Insta-Hots in the States that's getting very popular. You could put them down in the basement if you want. It's not gravity fed, but you couldn't tell this guy, and they would not change that. The plumber just said, no, we're not going to put it in there because it won't work. So I had to have it in the upper cabinet. Guys, I'm telling you the truth. When we get back over the house, I'll take a picture of this thing. I would, it's just ridiculous. I wanted everything under the sink, because under the kitchen sink is going to be my reverse osmosis system and the Insta-Hot, and that's basically all I was going to put under there, and just the extra filters, what I needed for that, and the tools for that, and that was just going to be a closed door just for that. We had them put a storage space underneath the stairs for our toiletries for the bathroom, and I'll definitely do shelves up in the bathroom. A lot of things we didn't have them do because of the price. Just adding an extra 3 plugs was $17,000. Now that had to be added. We had to have them do that. I didn't want to start digging through the walls to do all that. Let them do it while they're building it. So we got that. We'll eventually go out and do some awnings, do some things like that. Try to shade it up as best we can and be able to hang the clothes out. When in case if it's raining or something. Things dry here real quick. We talked about a dryer, and it was just talk because we're not going to do it. We have a solar clothes dryer. We're going to put up. I remember years ago there was a fella, and he made a fortune too. He advertised in a bunch of magazines, free magazines and cheap magazines and all the sale papers around, solar clothes dryer, $49.95. And boy, the people sent their money in like crazy. And basically, it was a piece of rope. You got to give that guy some credit. I loved that when I saw it. But that's what we're doing. The clothes dry super fast here. I don't want to hang anything out front and hillbilly the place up. But you see all around the Philippines, they hang their clothes out no matter wherever they can find a spot. So, but we want to put some nice awnings up. I'd actually would like to take the back area of the house and completely close that off. Put a vent fan in there and just close it. I'm going to close that in, help keep the mosquitoes out. I did run into a mosquito during the day, got bit by one. It's very cool down by the water. I'm not sure how we're going to run into that, if it's going to be real bad or not, but that's something else to look into when you're looking into a development. But check even the position of the sun, guys. It's really important so you don't get a real hot house. Now the place that another one we know over by Santa Rosa, one of the security guards where I worked, got to know him really good. He was over in Dosma, but he lived over in Santa Rosa, and they finally transferred him. When I was over there working with hiring and coaching and all that, I ran into him. I said, "Hey man, how you doing?" And he said, "Hey, good." And I said, "So you're close to work now, right across the street?" I said, "Oh, you live there?" And he goes, "Yeah, I live there." I said, "Oh, I'd like to check your place out sometime. We're looking around for houses now." He said, "Oh, you can't come now." And I says, "Oh, how come?" He says, "It's flooded." And we went down there anyway, and I'm not kidding you. There was a foot of water. He had sandbags to try to keep it out, but his whole house was just full of water. So watch out for flood areas. Check that out as best you can, because there's a lot of them that do that. I was down in Davao, and every night the streets flooded. You were walking through 6 inches of water. It's just, there's a lot of places like that, and they'll build there. They just build there, and that's because they got that land probably cheap, and they're going to throw up a bunch of little tiny places, and the Filipinos are going to buy them and live there. So look out for that. And another thing too, we saw a place that I liked the area. It's got one of my favorite houses I've ever seen. The architecture of this place, it was a OFW. He built this place, and I remember looking around at it and walking around and just saying, boy, I really like the house. I just thought it was a fantastic place. And my wife was saying, yeah, but if you look at the houses around, a lot of them had big cracks going in, and you could see where people had fixed the crack and tried to repaint it and stuff. It's on a fault line. There's a fault line running right through this neighborhood. So you got to watch for all that kind of stuff too. You can't just get in here willy-nilly and get yourself a place, because you could run into trouble down the road. Nobody wants indoor a swimming pool when they didn't install one. I worry about the floodplains. So where we're at, the reason why I picked the area was because the way the mountains are set up, it creates like a bubble, this big bubble over that area, and it seems like typhoons will head either south and through or to the north and through, where they don't get hit bad. The other thing was when the Taal volcano came through, they didn't get any dust at all. Batangas had, 6 inches of dust dumped on. We got a couple inches. Go back on my videos and look at my Taal volcano ones. There's, we had a lot of dust here. So that place didn't get any. That dang bubble between these two mountains just pushed it away. That was one of my reasons for going to that. So just things to think about, guys. You need to make sure everything's good. Now our home, we have it gives us a 1-year warranty. I'm looking at the work these guys did. I thought was pretty good. I'm just looking at the finish. It's detail oriented. It's been a 2-year ordeal, and now it's getting pushed off again. We were looking of going in and doing the turnover, supposed to be this last week. Now there's nobody knows. Nobody can give us a firm date. And then plus it's not done. They tell us the window. They have the windows, but they are the last thing they'll put in the house because they don't want them getting busted or anything with a ladder or something like that. But it's slowly moving along. When my wife talked to the project manager, they're doing the lights now and the electrical plugs. That probably should be done today, because they're still working. And he said once all that stuff's done and they're out of the road, the toilets, he said, installing the toilets and sinks and the rest of the faucets and all that, he said, it's, I looked at everything, it's all plumbed and ready to go. Drains are all set and everything. It's just a matter of installing them. I've installed those things myself. It takes no time at all. I bought a house in CA that was completely gutted. I got it for $100,000. It was completely gutted, so I took some time off of work. I went in there. I mean, it didn't even have a water heater in the place. Now I had to reinstall a water heater because I wasn't going to start busting walls out and doing stuff for Instahots and all that, and running electric and all. So it would have been a mess. But I did the 3 bathrooms in the place. Once I had all the stuff, I waited and put it in the garage, and I did the entire bathrooms in one day, not including the tile. I mean, that took me a little bit of longer time. But once it came time to put the sink and the fixtures and little wall hangers and all that, that was only a day. So I know that goes quick, and I did that by myself. I did my own kitchen. I went inexpensive. I bought the cabinets that you just build. They got those little cam locks on them, and I hung those in place. But I went with upgraded on the doors and the door pulls, so it came out looking beautiful. I did the countertop with some heavy marine grade plywood, and I put tile on it so that I could set hot stuff down. I don't like the idea of having a counter you can't put anything on. Like for Micah, it'll melt. And as small as that kitchen is, I'm going to need every bit of room to set stuff. I have a sink drainer that's going to be right over the sink. That's something that I want to get all that stuff ordered before we move. And you got to think of these things too when it comes time to the move. I want to get the bike now. I'm still waiting on them guys, and if it comes down to it when we do the signing, I'll just get it without the sprocket, because we're going to need to travel around, my wife and I. We're going to need to have the cooking stuff ready. The first thing we want to get installed and get working is the stove. We're going to need that because we're not going to do a bunch of eating out right off the bat. We might do some andox or something, but we're going to need to start cooking. I need to get the bathrooms up and running. I need to at least get the mattresses on the floor. I'm not worried about the dining room table now. That'll be we're going to have those custom built, and the coffee table and the couch. Right now we'll just make do with some plastic chairs. We're planning on going to S&M. We could pick up some chairs or send somebody. Hey neighbor. And we'll get that done. But we have our moving truck ready to go. I got a lot of stuff boxed. My wife is a little bit dragging her feet on the other stuff, but little things I do when I move. I have a deep freezer. That's going to be beds, blankets, pillows, everything will be stuffed in there. And then the refrigerator, I'll do the same thing. It's got glass shelves. I'll tape them in, stuff it full of clothes or whatever to give, it's not going to add that much weight. That's one of the ways we're going to move. We're not moving a lot of the dishes and stuff that we have here because I bought all new. They're already boxed. I opened up the boxes, made sure nothing was broke. I still want to get a Corel, but we have a little a white set that I like. We have a couple tables. These fold-out tables we got from S&R. I should have bought 4, but I wound up getting 2 of them. Now you don't see them anymore. You see the cheap, flimsy ones, but these are strong enough where I can actually sit in the center. These things are really tough, and we got 2 of them for like $3,500. So that was a good deal. It's like I said in videos before: when you see something, don't wait to grab it. Grab it now, because they may not have it again. Like Filipina P says, a year from now, or never. So we'll have that, so we'll be able to eat. And it's going to be a fun process. I'm not going to get in a big hurry to get it all done, because I want to make sure we get the perfect couch. I already got the idea for the table. I have a separating cabinet that's going to go between the living room, dining room, kind of, and it's got drawers in it, so we can put the silverware there. Things like that. I want to have them put on the bottom of the bench. I want to have them put another bench thing in between the legs, help make it sturdier. Plus, you could set stuff there. It's a tiny house, so you got to have all the places you can to set stuff. That's pretty important. So we're going to need a few drawers. They don't really do drawers here in the Philippines. I've been into so many houses, even my buddy who built a place for 10 million. You go in the kitchen, there's not a single drawer in there. They just don't do drawers. And me, for the kitchen stuff, I want a drawer. But I'll have magnets where I can hang my knives on the wall. I already have the bit to drill through. I wanted them to put like knockers. When I was working in the electrical industry, when they were pouring a concrete floor, we would go up and put knockers in. They just got a little plastic coating and they're brass threaded for a threaded rod, whatever size you need to hang your racks downstairs. And we'd set all those knockers in. And they don't do knockers here. I would have liked them to put some knockers in the wall and so that I had a place in the tile. So I could put them on. But I have a tile drill bit. They work really great. You just got to take your time. I actually saw a guy use one to put a hole in a mirror, to hang something behind a mirror. And I actually found out what he bought, and I bought the 3 different sizes from the same place. Now, it was pricey. I paid like $45 for 3 of them. But I'll tell you what, they work good. Just don't make the mistake of putting it on hammer when you're doing it. But look long and hard. When we were looking for houses before we found Demeter Land, we looked at a lot of builders, and the salespeople will absolutely lie to you. We went out and looked at a place that was it said 3 bedrooms, 1 bedroom downstairs, and then 3 up. So we went up there, and it was just one big open room. A lot of these places they'll sell too, that it's bare. There's nothing in it. You got to get in there and finish it yourself. I actually know a girl who bought one that was bare. Little teeny tiny place. I don't know how many square feet, maybe 400, no, 350, something like that. And she had to go in there and finish everything. The only thing they had was a place for the sink. They had like a thing was put in there for a sink, so that's where the kitchen had to go. But when she finished it up, it was very nice. But they still charge you a pretty dear price for these. Our house was $45,000. I don't want to spend more than that. We're planning on getting out and doing some things if this COVID ever gets over. We'd like to, that's what we were doing before this. We were traveling around. I wished I had more pictures of it. I do have a lot of pictures of travels on the phone. They were saved to a thing called Photos. I thought I had lost a bunch of pictures of things from years ago, and I didn't. We have a lot of them when we were going to all these different resorts and these little towns we stayed in. We kind of did like Tropical Tim, and we'd go down and find a little town, and if the people were nice, okay, let's stay here. We actually pitched our tent on the beach. We just went down to the Baron guy and said, hey, we're just traveling through. Is it okay if we put our tent on the beach? And is there a place we can use a restroom and be able to clean up and all that? Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead. And we never were turned down. Now, we don't leave any garbage all around. It seems like when you get away from these areas up here, it's cleaner. I do talk about the garbage and all this kind of stuff, but if you get away from these areas, the people are very neat and tidy. It just seems like when you come up here, they see the garbage and they just say, okay, and they throw their garbage on the ground and they let their dogs poop all over. But a lot of the places we went to, I can't remember the town, the last trip we took, where we stayed on the beach. They had a big play area for the kids. They had a weekend market that would open up. They put these big blue tarps up in the air for shade. Of course, I had to duck through it, and anything you wanted to get. We brought so much food back, like the fish that I like, the dried fish, and we got a bunch of stuff to bring back and pass a lubog for other folks. And it was just a fantastic place down there, and clean. I mean, the houses were nice. Even some of the real poor houses, they had paint on them and tried to finish them up, make them look nice. There were some that were empty, that were falling apart. We did find a house that was for sale, and they only wanted like $10,000 for it. And it would have been nice to have for a vacation home. Excuse me, not 10,000, 100,000. Sorry about that. It would have been nice to have for a vacation home. And now there was no title. There was no title to the land. So, we stayed away from that. Watch for titles. Make sure when you get something, you get a title. because if you don't have the title and you got to apply for it, you're looking at around $25,000 or more. That's just for the title fee and all this that we've seen. It could be different in different places. But we also saw another place that was very Filipino and very unique. They had no running water in any of the houses in this little circle, but outside they had a water, that you could put a hose on, and it had like a concrete thing in there where the woman washed their clothes. You bath, that's where you took your bath. The dudes would take their bath in their underdrawers, and then go inside and dry off, and the kids would play out there. And it had a common toilets. They had a couple toilets on the end of one of the buildings that had like four. I believe there was four of them. And if you had to go to the can or something, you went outside your house. It was a community pooper. So, and a lot of times too, when you come in here, one of the things I did, and I thought they looked cool. They have these toilets with the little push button in the top of the tank. Okay, fine. That's gonna be just okay. Well, since we've been in this house, we got one. They are a nightmare if it stops working. Okay. Because you got to get the lid off, and you got to try to fit this little stupid wire hook, and you can't make it too long or it don't work, and if it's too short, it leaves the little flapper open. Absolute garbage. So I had them change that to just a regular little handle flusher on the side, something that I can fix easily if I need to. You can get guts anywhere in the hardware stores for those ones. So watch out to get those push button ones. Now I saw the kitchen. The kitchen faucet was different. Instead of having the two things on it, I was questioning them back and forth. They do ones that are just one thing. It's like a diverter, just like in your shower. Okay, so I'm okay with that. So it's got one spout, but it has another hole in the end of my sink so I can pop my reverse osmosis. We got one that's it's a 6-stage. It'll do, I think it said it'll do 10 gallon a day. And we'll fill up stuff too, in case if water quits for any reason. We're always ones to keep stuff like that filled up. But watch for that. Make sure you got good water. There's people that live right on the next street. Their business that they're making their living at is a water station, so we also can get water there from them. There's always deliveries too. Filipinos, everybody pretty much buys the water. Now, if you get into the provinces, I've seen people that move to the province and they have the old pumper thing, and they got a little shallow well there, and that's how they use their water. They bathe in it and stuff. And I've seen beautiful young Filipino women move there, and within 4 or 5 years, they age so badly. And I think it's because of the water, to be honest with you. I think it's because of the water. They're getting polluted. These places will have a septic right there, and then their little well, because the lots are so small, their little tiny pumper well is right there. So if you're looking for a place to, even if you got city water, I have a whole house filter that's installed, plus I'm going to put another one behind the washer. I'm also going to have a big pre-filter, like an iron filter, for my reverse osmosis, so it doesn't get too expensive, for the filters in there. The water seems to be pretty good. I saw them when the concrete guys were there. They had a big container that they filled up, and it didn't look too bad, but looks can be deceiving. So when you're getting into a place, don't be in a hurry to build. Honestly, I probably would have been the contractor myself, bought a piece of land and contracted it myself. I had somebody get in there and make kind of a snarl remark. Oh, he knows more than what the Filipinos know. Well, yeah, I worked in construction my whole life. I can find the people who know what they're doing, like the block guys and all that, and get them to do that. I would want to do the electric myself. We found a block, my buddy Ronald, a block manufacturer that actually has little indents for the rebar. It's got spaces for your water line inside. They got spaces for your electrical line built right into these block. And the blocks kind of go together almost like a Lego type thing. and you can get them up to 500 psi. You can build these things all the way up to 8 stories with these blocks and still be within an architect's engineered safety factor. So I would go with that. We are planning on doing another one down in Mindanao. If we pick up a piece of land, kind of like a vacation home, place for the kids to go. As I get older with this back trouble, I want to do a 1-story. So if you're retired and you got some kind of health issues and you're going to build a house, just make it a hacienda style. Do it 1 story without too many level changes inside, so that you don't have trouble getting around. Make sure you got good railings. Our stairs in this house are not good, and I could see in so many years from now, as this back wears out more, that would be a dangerous thing for me. Plus if it gets wet from the roof leaking there, the tiles are slippery. Make sure you get tiles that aren't slippery. Talk to them about it. Talk to the tile people, and we had tiles that are supposedly not slippery. We do have a big black, it's like an industrial machine mat that's going to go down on the kitchen floor. I hope this new house doesn't get water all over the floor like this place. This one's a nightmare. You have to be careful you don't slip here. But if you're getting older, I also recommended in another video that you make sure you're close to a hospital if you're going to come here and have health problems. I met a British guy, and just looking at the guy, he looks sick. He looks like he's got a lot of problems. And as I got to know him, I'd see him walking in the morning, and as I got to talk to him a little more, he actually invited me to his place one time, and he had a real nice condo. The dude's well-to-do. He's very close to a hospital. He's got guys that live in his house. One of them's a nurse, and they're big, strapping Filipino boys, and he's a hefty fellow. This guy's got to go 250. He's not that tall, but he's 250. He's a portly fellow, and they can pick him up. When he hired him, that was one of the things. He laid down on the bed when he was hiring these fellas and picked me up and put me in the wheelchair, and they did it. So they were hired, and he gave them each a room. They share a room in his little place. He feeds them. He gives them, I think he said he gives them $8,000 a month. Plus, they have no room, board, or food. And he's got a young girl who goes in there and cooks for him. So you got to look out for these kind of things, when you're coming here. It's the little things, just like the sun. I'm telling you, it's going to be important down the road, because you don't want to wind up. We know a fellow right now that has an air conditioning bill that runs between $25,000 and $30,000 a month. And if you got it, yeah, that's fine. But here's the thing, even if you got it, that's just ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. We run this house. We've never gone over 1,500. Anywhere we've lived, it's usually around 1,300. Now we're going to get air conditioners, but I know, I'm getting inverter types. I'm not doing these big outside mounted wall units. Those are cool. I really like that idea. But when somebody comes to work on it, they're up on a ladder, even though the workmen are cheap. So I opted for the window air conditioners, because if it goes out, if it quits, I can go, "Hi, handsome."
Papa, when
yes.
you're done video, we're gonna go to the mud.
Okay. All right. Got a kiss? Love you, baby boy.
And I'm gonna find out Frisbee.
Okay, yeah, they're over there. We stuck them over in, we got them in 3 different places, so nobody would find them.
Marty, it's so one over there in the fence.
It's okay, we'll get it. We'll go over the fence and get it. We can go underneath, remember?
I'm gonna get it?
Sure. You can be the getter. Don't worry, we're going to have plenty. Yeah, I'll scratch it. He's got a little bit of prickly heat. No, Mommy's going to fix you up to Beth.
Marty scratched me in my back when I'm sleeping.
I know. He loves you, doesn't he?
When I wake up, Marty didn't scratch me.
Oh, well, Mommy scratched you, though. We got to watch we don't scratch too much.
This is your pimple?
Yep. Okay, I'm going to finish the video, okay? Give me one little hug.
How about you get mine?
That's a booby. That's not a pimple.
It's not a pimple.
No, it's not. Okay. So think of these things. My beautiful little guy. They're just so precious, these guys. And he's got a really quick mind, that little one. But think about all these little things when you're going to get a place, and a good thing to do, not this channel, but go to a whole bunch of these other get as many of them you can on your list and watch these guys. Some of them I watch and it's not so good, but you'll get a video down the road that has a really good one, Now I'm gonna do a video here pretty soon. Santa Claus in the Philippines is selling his house. He gave me a link to the video. I'll put it on this video. He's asking $5 million for it. It's in Batangas. I don't know too much about it. I tried to watch the video, but my data load right now won't allow it to play. It won't even start to play. It just keeps popping up. You're offline every time I try to turn it on. Right now we have a lot of people in here that are using the data. There's just bunches of kids in here now, and even at night it's getting used up a lot. This is the Easter week. So, that's just how it's going to be. Another thing, make sure when you're buying your place what it's going to be for internet. Now, our phone worked good over there. I didn't have any problem. I actually uploaded a video in just a few minutes. But we found out the hard way. If we want to bring in, because we're one of the first ones in there, if we want to bring it in, we have to pay all the way from this other guy's place over the poles all the way to our house to get a line. And then I was also talking, we're going to have to pay for all that wire and the installation. And I was talking to him. I don't want, the one place said, well, if other people get it, they're going to tap onto my line. I don't want that. I'm going to wait until I can find something where it's my line. I don't want anybody hacking into my line and then I lose my service down the road on one of these 2-year contracts and got nothing. When we put the water, I didn't mention that when we had that first little house, the San Juan Jajeco water thing, some dude stole all the money and we got water a couple hours a day, if we got it at all. Sometimes 2-3 days no water at all. We had barrels we were using. Well, when the GMA water come through, people were putting a line in. And what they were doing is they were all going in together and they were getting one pipe coming in and then they were tapping off of that into each house. So as people were using water, they had basically no pressure. So when I put my line in, people were saying, hey, can we tie onto yours? No. We'll dig the hole. You want to put your own pipe, knock yourself out. But no, that's my line. I'm coming from the main all the way to that house, and that house has great water pressure now. It cost us a little bit. It wasn't as much as you'd think. I'd have to ask my wife exactly what we paid for everything, but it wasn't a great amount. I didn't think so anyway for all the work that was done. And we had the neighbor guy dig the ditch and put the pipe in. They just put it underneath the concrete galvanized pipe. And we opted for the bigger pipe, like a commercial one. And the house has great pressure. Now, all the pipes in the walls throughout that whole house are shot, except the one in the bathroom. All the rest of the pipes in the kitchen, in the dirty kitchen, inside on the inside kitchen, they were just shot. They were plastic pipes that just from breaking and going bad that they repaired, and they repaired it all the way into the wall. And the only way to really fix that place and get a proper shower and all that stuff would be just to surface mount brand new pipe over there, which I was unwilling to do. I'm unwilling to do it because I did not want to stay there. My wife wanted to put a second floor on there. The house was built for that. I just didn't want to be in that area anymore. I did my time. And, it was like camping. Could we have made it fabulous? Yep. There's a lot of people over there are getting in. Kids are overseas and they're sending mama home, and the houses are getting all fixed up because it's going to be theirs down the road. So they're getting it all fixed up while they're doing their thing, making lots of money. And I just did not want to be over there anymore. Walking out the front of your things with 4 or 5 dog pies out there. And chickens chasing through your house. We had ducks coming in there, and then they pooped. Just because I left my doors open. Just was crazy. It just was a little bit too much. Plus the mosquitoes over there. They weren't as bad as some places I've been, but plenty of mosquitoes over there. Look at all this stuff. when you're looking at development, I walked around this last development. I saw the river on the side. It's moving. It moves pretty quick. Plus, it's extremely low. They'll trim the trees so that the snakes can't get over the wall as easily. But I walked around the whole thing, and I was just checking it out to see, like, the perimeter. I wanted to see. I walked up where the real nice houses were. Do all this kind of stuff, guys. Do your, they call it due diligence. But look at it all, because we're planning on having that house, and then it'll be the kids down the road, and I wanted to make sure that it is a nice place. It's small, it's Filipino style, but you know what? That's fine with me. We got this place, we don't even use the upstairs because the tile is so broken, cracked. I don't want the kids hurt. I know when Mama comes or we have company, and Tropical Tim came, I told him just be careful. We pulled a lot of the broken tile out now, and there's a big bed up there, and we put new sheets up for them, and that's theirs. They got their own bathroom, and everything's good. But we do not use it. We're used to small. Our first house we owned here. Well, the first house we lived in. I'd be honest with you, that thing couldn't have been more than 250 square feet. And then the second one we were in was maybe 450. That's if you count all of the interior space, not including the bathroom. I mean, it was small. And this one here, I believe they said it's 60 square meter, and I think if we did that, it comes out to, I don't know, 640 some square feet, something like that. So it's not big, but we're going to do cabinets in the living room. I made sure all the pictures were taken. There's nothing up in that wall. It's grouted concrete block, and we're going to go around that living room from the window in the dining room. We're going to go all across that ceiling. Up above the TV. We'll have a ladder there, and when we get to that separation where that cabinet is, I'm going to bring a couple of cabinets down on top of that cabinet, down to that, and just go right around, and maybe even on the other side too, so that we have storage spots. And it's kind of nice with the kids' age; they're not going to be able to get in there and get anything. And I'm going to hang that ladder on the wall going down to the bathroom, like I got it hung here. And I'm going to need it. I'm going to also need it too. But we're in a tiny house. They did pretty much almost 9-foot ceilings. Filipinos like to do real high ceilings here, and I guess that's to keep the heat up high. I imagine if you had a 8-foot ceiling, the house would be hotter. I truly believe that. But we'll also do like exhaust fans throughout. I'll add those as we go. But think of a lot of these things. And if you guys think of anything else, any of you YouTubers here, expats, or even Filipinos that are here in the Philippines, if you've got something else that's a good idea, please put it in the comments so that everybody can get a good look at this stuff and something to think about. I'd like more ideas. I go online and look at tiny houses in the U.S. all the time, how they're building them and what they're doing. I would have loved to have drawers in my steps, but even if just shallow drawers. Hey, how you doing? There's our wonderful security guard. Hey, say hi. These guys are pretty good. That's one other thing too. When we looked at the other place, we were talking to the security guards, and they're just like here. These guys are just gems. I got some videos when the first lockdown started, and we were walking, and we're elbow bumping instead of shaking. It was a big scary thing back then. But don't fear this. Don't fear this COVID thing. It just, to me, it's hyped and pumped, and I can't see anyone that's proven me wrong. Who knows? They always tell you you're not paranoid if they really are out to get you guys. And time's going to tell what really is going down. And there's going to be a lot of folks wrong. And you know something? I hope it's me. I hope I'm the wrong one. I don't want anybody croaking to this stuff, but the numbers are being crunched, guys. Even in the States, I have a lot of family, cousins, and everything that work in hospitals, and you see the ladies that these hospitals are so overrun that they're dancing in the hallways and doing TikTok videos and all that. Well, if they're so damn busy, and then I actually had a friend who was down in I believe it was Houston, the one that's on the coast. I think that's the one where all the oil fields are. And they said this hospital was overrun. It was on the news. And a friend of mine, he's a brash fellow like me. He kind of just went straight in, and like he owned the place. And he said it was basically a ghost town in there. So that's one I know for sure lied about. I know this man. He did a video of it. So he doesn't have a YouTube channel. I wish he would start one and put stuff like that up that he has. But, it's just really something. And like I say, I hope I'm wrong. So it's getting kind of long. I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget to pray for each other. And, just send me some good stuff if you got any ideas on houses or more things about living here in the Philippines. Rickshaw out.